Hello, welcome to NickTuts. My name's Nick, these are my tuts. This one is part 9, hair selection. And I'm going to show you the way that I would select hair, because it can be a bit of a pain. But I've set this up because I'm on a white background. Obviously I've got a fan down here blowing my hair about, but the white background is quite important, and it's always preferable to have, for me, a white background before I cut out hair. So sometimes you won't have that option, and then it's where it gets more difficult. But you know, if you're going to be putting your face on anything in your head, then you'll be taking your own pictures. So do it with a white background. Okay, so the technique that I mentioned last time in part 8, that is called leveling technique. And it wouldn't have worked with that, but it's going to work with this, because what I'm trying to do is get this. The hair is what I want selected. So I need the hair to be black and the background to be white. So it's total black, total white. And so first off, I'm going to find a channel that has, you know, quite bright whites and quite dark blacks, but it's not all the same, because that's all too much, and the white's not quite as white as I want it. So I think green is going to do it. So then you right click, duplicate channel. That's not important. Then you click on it. And then you press Command L, and what we're going to do is we're going to make the hair darker by sliding the midtone slider to the right, and then we can see that the hair, if I zoom in a bit actually, Command plus, and if I move up there, so if I hadn't have done that, there are some hairs here which are so grey that a mask isn't going to pick it up. It's just going to pick it up slightly. So we want to make as many of the hairs black as possible, and then I'll bring the actual black up. And now I've got to make the background as white as possible. So it's kind of trying to find a happy middle ground. So I'm going to lose some hairs. You can see this hair, particularly as I bring up the white slider, is getting smaller, but that is retaining a lot of the hairs. So hang on, no, right there looks to me like that's white and this is black, but I'm still going to just check if I can get any more hairs in. I think that's about as good as it's going to get. So if we Command minus, so it's done a fairly good job, especially here, of selecting these hairs or making these hairs black. So once you press OK, just paint in black over the face. I'm using a hard brush because, and I don't want sensitivity or size jitter, because this is going to be part of the mask, because the mask, as I say, will separate the blacks from the whites. So anything I want to be selected needs to be black. Anything I want to go needs to be white. So that looks to me fairly black. And this, I mean, this isn't important at all. I'm just doing it, just making sure that all this is white as well. But as I say, it's not important. We'll just, this is we'll have to go into it and do that. All right, so there we go. That's black and white. So if I click on the RGB channel, it all comes back, and then Command click green copy, and you'll see the marching ants. And then you press go to making a mask, Alt click, bam. We have ourselves a little mask there that we can use. But if I show you something, it looks all right if I move it. You know, there's transparency, it's all right. It's all right. But then I'll put a solid color underneath, and you will see it's not all right. Not too black. There we go. Awful. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. And a little dot here, which I knew I'd gone too far, but I'll sort that out. So we've got the hair, but it's greeny white, and that's obviously no good. But we can fix this. If you click, if you click on this channel and then add a new layer above it, right click, and then create clipping mask. So we're only going to paint in these areas. And then what I would normally do is I would pick a nice soft brush. I'd have my sensitivity, I don't really need that. And then I will start to paint. With the brush tool, if I Alt left click, I've got you can see the color changes depending on which one I go over, and I obviously don't want green. which has appeared. So I want this kind of brown. And then I'll start lightly painting over the hairs. And initially, it won't look like much, but as you can see, it's getting darker, and that's what we want. And I don't want to go too far into the actual hair, because then I'm literally painting above my hair, and then all the texture and whatnot will disappear. So I just want to kind of stick just to the outer edge of my head. I mean, we are going to change the blend mode anyway, which means that it's not too important what I'm doing underneath, that I'm going over the edge, because we can fix that. But just gotta make sure that we got a bit of paint on the hair and make it a little bit darker, because we're just trying to get remove the grain, really. That's all we're trying to do, just get rid of the grain. Clearly went too far down here because I've just painted onto my shoulder, so I'll just, I mean, I don't mind erasing this rather than using a mask. It's not that important because I'm not really going to be keeping this. Okay, so, and then get back in and then pick a darker color from the hair, probably that, and then start painting again. And you can see now the hairs are beginning to look more like hairs than weird green things. Alright, and then because I'm using my Wacom, the more pressure I put on, the darker the hairs are going to get. And I do want these hairs here to be quite dark. So I'm putting in a bit of pressure on there to paint those hairs back in. And again, try not to go too much onto my actual hair. But it's already looking a lot better. If you do go over the hair, just kind of blend it in a bit, and then it won't look so bad. And there's a couple more things we'll do when we're done here that need to be fixed. But as long as the hair edge is okay, we're okay. I've done a really silly thing there. That's just the mask. Let me just actually remove that. That's my bad. That's clearly not hair. I mean, that doesn't look great, but oh, and then I'll tell you what, I'll paint white. Whatever. That's not important. But it looks worse, so I'm just going to Control Alt Z and just leave my little extra dot there. Okay, so it's getting there. At least the hair's darker. Could do with being a bit darker down here, actually. So I need to get back on here. Just paint that a little bit darker. Alright, now blending mode. I think one of the lights might work. Hard light. Maybe a bit too much. Soft light. Oh no! Vivid. Oh geez, that's just black. Linny will do the same, yes. So I think hard light is the one I like the most. And if you whack a mask on that, we can just go as far as we can painting in black to remove some of, where I've gone too far and there is an obvious fringe. So I'll just kind of, I'm not going up to the edge because I've got a big soft brush. So painting here is kind of going to affect, or it will affect everything within that circle. That's too far. So that's too far. So I'm just, as you can see, removing the added color or paint that I added on top, so that it doesn't look, oh, too far, doesn't look fake. There we are. Might even make these ones a little bit darker. But I need a darker color, so I'll go with that, which is practically black by the looks of it, just to make them stand out that little bit more. Yeah, I think that's all right. Okay, so then what I would do is I would go into here, because this is obviously not, it's not hair. Well, it is hair, but it just looks ridiculous. So a nice hard edge brush, and I'm just painting in black on the original mask, because I'm now going to go around the edges and just remove things that look like they are detached from my actual hair, like these bits. because they'll give it away. It'll give the game away. So just keep painting around here like that, making sure that you're getting rid of all the hairs that aren't attached to anything. Yeah, I shouldn't be doing that. This side is kind of alright because I want to leave those. That's alright. And then, oh yeah, I said I'd sort it out, so I'll sort it out. Right, there we go. Okay. Yeah, that looks alright now. Let's just see what happens if we give it a different background colour. Let's go with that kind of grey. Yes. Almost. Almost. Next, finally, add a layer underneath this head. Get yourself a kind of small brush. And I have my opacity jitter and size jitter on for this. Yeah, you can, when you do it with the mouse, you'll figure it out. Just put it in 20%. And then I will pick a colour around here. And then I'll start to paint in new hairs of the exact same colour, because then, oh, not that though, because then you kind of, I mean, this is useful because I've got a Wacom. If you don't have a Wacom, it's much harder to do this because you can't have on the fly pressure change. You got to set it up, but that's why you just use 20%, 20% opacity with a mouse, and it semi does the same thing, but the size jitter won't change unless you change it. So your hairs, if you're using a mouse, will not get smaller at the end, unfortunately. And normally there's a bit of mess down here with my hair, so I'm going to paint a bit of mess in. Just underneath. There we are, son. Lovely. I don't know, I might have gone too far with that. But yeah, just filling in these weird little blotches that could do with not being blotchy, and then throwing a few more hairs in, picking a colour every now and then that matches the colour that's around it. And we've not really much to do with all that because it's kind of done its thing. But I've noticed over here there is some more disembodied hair that I just want to remove. Oh, I just want to get rid of it because it looks rubbish. All this dotty stuff. It's not nice. It's not natural. I might have to actually, yeah, definitely going to need to add a few hairs there. So again, layer underneath, small brush, alt left click, and then try and make this look not so shoddy. Like just paint a few things in there, you know. And then a couple more. It's a bit weird down here. It's just painting black on the mask. Just remove all this. Nick, it would be easier if you just made the brush bigger. Because these kind of dotty bits, I mean, they don't look natural at all. So we'll just have to paint in where the hairs are intending to go. It's kind of trial and error sometimes with this. You're never completely sure that what it's going to look like until you exit and zoom out. There we go, da-de-da. Occasional erratic growth hairs. I'm just going to grow randomly at absolute opposite angles from everybody else. There we are. Zoom out. And there we go. I might even, if I put all this in a group, apart from the color fill, so shift click all your layers, control G, command G, I would copy that. If I was going to be editing this for an image, I would always have a copy that's not messed around with. And then on the copy, just convert that to a smart object. And then you can add a little bit of blur so that it doesn't look so harsh. 33.1 might be a little bit much. So let's try 3.4, that's too much. 2.3, 1.4. No, it's still too much. Right, 0 looks that. It's too sharp. So maybe, yeah, 1.3. And then on the mask that comes up with that filter, if you Command I that to hide it, and then with a fairly soft brush, just paint in white on this mask, and it will reveal the blur. And then just blur around it a bit, just paint over it, aiming to avoid painting on the actual hair from the image. Oh, sorry, forget it, doesn't matter. Just paint around the edge like that. There we go. I think I have a passage jitter on, so I'm just going to double check I've got it all. All right. And there we are. That is some hair bare cut out. So I can go behind it and put like a red background or a blue background. And that's how you do it. That's how you cut out the hair. And then obviously, if this was a picture, you'd do what you carry on. You get rid of all this, and just cut the head out, whatever. But that's it. That is how you cut out hair, or at least it's how I cut out hair. You can also do it with hue saturation filters, masking them out, and that'll save you. Well, no, you still got to paint on the mask, but that is effectively how I would cut out my hair.
Well, that's the first one where I didn't need to interject. You actually got it all right.
I'm glad you think so.
That's the last one of the series, right?
It is, Tommy. They should know enough to get started proper now.
Thanks to my help.
Yes, Tommy, thanks to your help.
Hey, without my help, they would not have known the most important piece of information.
Eh?
You're a jerk.
Why am I a jerk, Tommy?
Hey, don't ask me. I didn't write this. So long.